Welcome back to Ask the Warrior for the 2nd of October 2014. What is the cost question we left off? Oh yeah, Sir Cam. If you could enlist any fantasy character into Inquisition inner circle of trusted advisors and bodyguards, which 4 to 6 characters would you choose and why? I had a little think about that while I was having my dinner. What characters would I like to see? I'm rolling out anyone from Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones because I don't trust any of them. From a fantasy setting, that's a tough one. I'm having a look at the fantasy books. I've got Geralt of Rivia, definitely him, because I feel as if I could befriend him, he would be the most loyal soldier, bodyguard, advisor in the army of the Inquisition, and also he's a witcher, he's a hunter of monsters, and there are monsters in this world now, and I feel with his advice and guidance, we could have a really, really good monster hunter in our team. I definitely think Geralt of Rivia would be a must. And there is a character who I would also like to see in Inquisition, and it's from this book, which is The Palace Job. Now, I actually haven't finished this book. I'm about a quarter of the way through it. I should probably sit down and actually read it, but I'm also reading this book as well, Last Flight, and also got that book to read, which is Splinter of the Mind's Eye, and also Sherlock Holmes. I got a lot of books to read. But there is a character in this I would love to see in the Dragon Age Inquisitioners, and this was actually written by Patrick Weeks, who's one of the lead writers on there, and the character is Locke. She is basically like a natural leader slash thief slash warrior, and she's just fascinating, and I love her. I really need to get around to reading the rest of the book to finish up and get a full assessment of her character, but I definitely think that she is a loyal soldier as well as a good leader, so I would definitely want her into it. Even from what I've read so far, I definitely love her character a lot, and I really would want to see that. Other characters from fantasy settings, I'm trying to look at the thing of other characters from the fantasy. That's 2 so far. I was going to say Hellboy, but he's more of an action one. I'm having a look. Dread Pirate Roberts from the Princess Bride, because he's loyal, determined, skilled, and a fucking badass. Definitely want him. And also I feel like I could trust him. I have a real bad memory, so I'm looking at other fantasy setting stuff I own. Beowulf, because he is the greatest warrior of all. I'm kidding, I would not have him. I would not trust him as far as I could bloody throw him. I would say the Hound, but I've ruled out Game of Thrones because just none of those characters I feel like I could trust. I feel like someone would stab me in the back. Percy Jackson from the Heroes of Olympus series, or Percy Jackson series written by Rick Van. It's set in modern times, but it uses fantasy elements, and Percy's trained in Greek combat. So yeah, I'd love to see him in it because he's a skilled warrior, he's a loyal person, he's athletics, very skilled fighter, and I think he would really, especially towards the end of the series. I'd also want Annabeth Chase, who is a genius. She's the daughter of Athena. She's very wise, very, very skilled in combat as well, so that's 4. Definitely want her. I would say others from that series, in fact, just give me all of them, they're all awesome. I'm trying to think of other ones. I'm having a look around this. I don't know fantasy too well. I'm trying to think. Mikasa from Attack on Titan, because she's a badass, she's loyal, and she's adorable. I love her, she's cool. Definitely want her, so that's 5. One more. And what's his name? Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, the original, not Brotherhood, because he is a skilled alchemist, knows his shit, very smart, very naturally talented, not a good leader, but I definitely want him. So that's my 6 there, and they're all awesome, and I think they all would be amazing in Inquisition. Plus, that would be one hell of a badass fucking team, and nobody'd be able to stop us. Okay, thank you, Sam. That was awesome questions from Sir. Sorry, thank you. That was an awesome question. Next set of questions come from N7 Normandy. I had to disqualify one of your questions because I said no Mass Effect questions, and you asked a Mass Effect question. Here's this question, very long one. What do you think? What do you think a Wonder Woman and Superman game would be like? I personally think the Superman game should be a very sci-fi game. Make it like Star Wars. To make a Superman more interesting to sci-fi fans, they should make him not invincible or when on an alien planet. So normal that any alien gun can badly hurt him in case he still fly, lift heavy things, have dark side. Make it like Mass Effect games and where the Fortress of Solitude is like Normandy for the players, aliens, blah 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 blah. It's very straightforward. A Wonder Woman game should be heavily on Greek mythology. Wonder Woman would fight demons, and her fight with Ares what ideal is. I'm going to disagree on the Superman one. You can make a Superman game where he is invincible to most things. There are things that can hurt Superman. There's red sun radiation, magic, and of course kryptonite. There is other things as well. Superman is not 100% invincible. He can be defeated. The way you would do a Superman game, in my opinion, is have supervillains as the main threat. That's all you have to do. Superman Returns, the game had an interesting concept where Metropolis had health and Superman would fail, but I don't think they should just set it in Metropolis. Have it set all over the world, because Superman can fucking fly. You could have him have health when he goes up against big bad guys, magical bad guys, that kind of thing. You're actually incorrect when it comes to Superman not having his powers or being able to get hurt on alien planets. As long as he's in proximity to a yellow sun, he's still invincible. He has to go towards a red sun, a red giant, basically. That's the only way. There are all the other sun types do different things to him, but red sun radiation is the only thing that will strip him fully of his powers. Yellow, as long as he's in proximity to a sun or a sun of similar quality, he's invincible. So yeah, you can't beat him, unfortunately, that way. But yeah, it's Superman game. You just have to have him go up against big bad guys like Darkseid, like Doomsday, that kind of thing, while having a good story. That's all you really have to do. That's all you really need. But nobody seems to get it right. Wonder Woman, I agree. Actually, it should be a heavily Greek mythology based game in modern days, fighting demons, that kind of thing. As long as they get a good story, I'm okay with that. So not much, but I do disagree with the Superman thing. Sorry, N7 Normandy. Next question from N7 Normandy is: have you ever played Skyrim heavily modded? Mods like Frostfall, where you can boost your survival element in Skyrim. For example, you cannot stand in cold and expect your character to stand strong like a god fighting a dragon. If you stay in the cold for too long, your character will freeze to death. You can buy warm clothes, hoodies, torches, and even cope against the temperature in various creative mods. I don't own Skyrim on PC. I've never played it modded, and I do know about Frostfall. I do intend to buy Skyrim on PC and heavily mod it, but right now I don't have experience mod. I've only modded Dragon Age Origins so far. I do intend to get Skyrim on PC and mod it. So yeah, not much else I can say about that. Last question from N7 Normandy is: do you think Batman is overrated? Yes, Batman is awesome, but he kind of makes everyone else in the Justice League look like a puny compared to him sometimes. To an extent, I really like the idea that human carrying powers over super things. Thoughts? It really comes down to who writes Batman. That's what it is. Am I sick and tired of seeing Batman movies? Yes. I want a reboot Batman franchise, but I want other DC characters. I definitely think that Batman has had an influence on the media of the superhero comics movies and TV shows, where they've tried to go very dark and brooding. Just look at Man of Steel. But I really, it comes down to who the writer is. That's all it comes down to, how Batman is portrayed. I personally don't like Frank Miller's Batman. I really, really don't. I just do not like that Batman at all. I have only watched reviews of The Dark Knight, the graphic novel. I've never read it, but I do not like that Batman. I've seen the movie as well. The movie's good. I just don't like Frank Miller's Batman, and that's also my main concern with the movie coming out, because I don't think the blah blah blah. I just do not like Frank Miller's Batman. I haven't read... My best Batman is the animated series Batman. That's the Batman I love. That's the Batman I like. I've not read that many Batman graphic novels because there's so many writers who wrote them bad. It's hard to find the ones that write them good. There are some suggestions I've had from Clan. Batman R.I.P. is good, and Kevin Smith's Batman, actually. The Winding Gyro and Cacophony, I think it is. Those two stories are great. Those are really good Batman. I like Kevin Smith's Batman. But it just comes down to who the writer is. I do think he's a little bit overused, not overrated. That's what I think he is. He's overused, not overrated, in my opinion. Anyway. Next question is from Darnell. Where do babies come from? If you're over 16, they come from the woman's vagina when you have sex with them and you don't use protection. So yes, if you don't want to be a dad, you wrap your dick with a condom. If you're a woman, you get contraception. You find the best one for you, and you use it. If it's a pill, you take the pill. If it's an injection into your uterus, into your womb, which my ex had to get, if that's what you get, if it's an implant to stop you from getting babies, get it. I'm going to say this right now. Use a condom and get protection. You don't want to be a dad at 16, and you don't want to be a mother at 16. Or younger. So yeah, that's where babies come from. If you're under the age of 16, they come from magic. Your mummy and daddy love each other a lot, so they think long and hard and dream about it, and then a baby magically appears in their bedroom. And then it murders them. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Next questions come from Agent Sambora. First question. If you could get a Buffy or an Angel film / another season, which would you choose? That's really fucking tough, because I love them both. Okay, here's the thing. If you're unaware, this is minor spoilers. Angel, the TV series, which is the spin-off of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, unfortunately didn't actually technically finish. It actually, this is another Joss Whedon show that got cancelled. The show ended on a bit of a cliffhanger, sadly. It did continue in comic format, which I've read the first. I think I have After the Fall. I'm not too sure. I might not. But After the Fall is the graphic novel that takes place right after the series, where the story continues. But the show kind of ended on a cliffhanger. But it ended the way Angel should have ended, in my opinion. It ended them out going head first and continuing the fight for evil. Because every season of Angel kind of ended on a cliffhanger. And had the same message as that no matter how bad the odds seem, Angel, Spike, Fred, Gunn, Wesley, they will all fight until the bitter end, no matter what. And I like that about the season finale of Angel, which is one of the best season finales I've ever seen. It ended the way it probably should have. Buffy, on the other hand, did actually, same thing. Buffy ended the way it should have. It did continue in comic format, which I do intend to read. But it ended the way it probably should have. It ended in an epic battle and glory. I think both Angel and Buffy ended okay. They ended well. The stories concluded. While there were still some lingering plot holes and plot threads here or there, overall the stories were consistent and ended very well. Now, would I like to see another season of Angel and Buffy? Hell yes. I want more Buffy and Angel. I want more Joss Whedon TV series. More, yeah, but we've got Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is okay so far. But there was actually supposed to be a Faith TV series, if you're familiar with the Buffy and Angel series. Faith is another vampire hunter, a vampire slayer. She's played by Eliza Dushku, who, in my opinion, that is her best role so far. Also, she needs to play Catwoman. I'm saying that right now. She would be perfect in that role. I like her. She's one of my favorite actresses, and she's really, really good. She played a character called Faith, who, in my opinion, is one of the most awesome characters in the entire series. She's probably up there with the best female characters of all time, in my opinion. Definitely with Xena and all that. She was supposed to get another. The actress was offered a spin-off show like Angel, but she had to decline it due to the fact she'd already taken on another role in another TV series, which got cancelled. So there was supposed to be more Buffyverse. I want to see more shows set in the Buffyverse, or movies. So overall, I don't really want another season of Buffy or Angel. Because the actors and actresses have all went off to do their own thing. I'm sure some of them would come back, but not all of them. I know David Boreanaz is actually really busy with Boned, which is, by the way, Boned is actually a really good series overall. One of the very few crime series I continue to watch. I actually rewatched it recently. It's fucking awesome. I don't know about Sarah Michelle Gellar. I think she's actually trying to distance herself as far away from Buffy as she can, even though she does love to talk about it every now. Very, very, very in the lines of Lucy Lawless. I would rather have another show set in the Buffyverse rather than another season of Buffy or Angel. That's what I'd want. With new characters, with Joss Whedon involved in some way, shape, or form, I would really, really like that. I really would like to see them involved. But if you can't really have a Buffyverse without Joss Whedon, or at least a member of the Whedon family, like his sons, involved in it as well. You need to have a Whedon person in that series to make it good. So I definitely think I would like to see another Buffy or Angel type show set in the Buffyverse, because it is a really good verse. However, what I really want to see is a Buffy and Angel movie. I want Joss Whedon to be given a budget of give him money, give him permission to use Buffy and Angel in one movie. The characters from that show set years later. I want that. I want a Buffyverse movie that Joss Whedon is literally given the money, given the resources, and just basically said, go. That's what I want. I want him to be given I want a Buffy and Angel movie made, directed, written by Joss Whedon and the team involved in the Buffy TV series and Angel TV series. I want that. That's what I want. So I hope that answers your question. I want that. Sorry, I love those shows so much. If you've never watched them, highly recommend them. I will state, Buffy has not aged well. The first 2 or 3 seasons have not aged well. I do know that they are actually releasing HD remastered versions on telly right now. I don't know if they're going to release it on Blu-ray, but they really need it, because the HD remakes look glorious. I really want both Buffy and Angel to get the HD remake done, like the effects cleared up and all that. I want that, but I don't know if that'll happen. We'll have to wait and see. But so I want a Buffy and Angel movie at the same time, like a crossover movie. Next question. What did you think of the Gotham pilot? It was okay. Still trying to be too much like Batman. I think it has potential, but if they don't clean up their act, I'm not going to watch it, because I still haven't watched the second episode yet. What music do you listen to? Sorry. Do you think DIA could suck? There is a possibility. There is always a possibility something can suck. But no, I don't think it will. What music do you listen to? I listen to everything from soundtracks to heavy metal to opera to classical to rock, indie, rap. You name a genre, I probably listen to it. The only genre I really can't get into is the heavy grunge genre with your soul and I can't get into that. The only band I can actually listen to that does something like that is Elevete, and that's mostly because of their music. Their instrumentals and all that are actually really good, and also they have a really good female singer who sings normal. But I listen to everything. There's no thing about it. I mostly listen to soundtracks, though. That's mostly my thing. Next question. Which voice will you choose for the Inquisition? British or American? It depends. I have to hear them fully. So, for my male one, I'm probably more than likely going to go with the American one, but I may go with the British one, which sounds good. For my female Inquisitor, it'll definitely probably be the British one, because I'm not too keen on the American voice actress, in all honesty, but that's just me. Have you seen In-Betweeners, the UK version, of course? If so, favourite character episode? No, I don't watch that shite. Just to clarify, that's my opinion. I don't like that. So yeah, sorry if you like it. Have you been to Burnstown sketch involving the voice-activated lift? No. No idea what the fuck that is, actually. Next set of questions are from Bloodcroft, and these will be the last set of questions for this video. What do you think of these remakes and remastered of the games onto the next gen, like GTA 5, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, and Metro Redux, Halo, Master Chief Collection, Last of Us Remastered, etc.? This ETA this year has been nothing but remakes, and what do you think? Firstly, I'm going to say this right now. I knew that GTA 5, Tomb Raider, and Halo Master Chief Edition were going to come out in this generation. I bloody well knew it. I knew we were going to get a Last of Us remastered because Last of Us came out towards the end of the PS3 life cycle, and they needed another game on the PS4. So yeah, I knew that was going to happen. Same with Tomb Raider. I knew Tomb Raider was going to come out on the next generation, mostly because those two are the Game of the Year editions with all the DLC and all that. That's what those are, and I'm completely fine with it. I do not consider Tomb Raider, the Definitive Edition, and Last of Us Remastered remakes or anything. I consider them the Game of the Year editions. Basically the editions of the game that comes with all the DLC. That's what I consider them. I do not consider them remasters or anything. Metro Redux, that's debatable whether or not that's a remaster or a remake. I definitely would just say it's basically the same thing as a Game of the Year edition, only updated graphics. Now, I haven't played them. I can't do a comparison, sadly. As for Halo Master Chief Edition, I knew that we were going to get a remastered version of Halo 1, 2, and 3 eventually, because Microsoft have no faith in their franchise beyond Halo. I knew we were going to get it. As soon as we got the Halo Mastered Edition on Xbox, I knew we were going to get Halo Remastered 2. I knew we were going to get Halo Remastered 3. And it's just because they need them on the next gen because they need money. It's just a way to sell consoles. That's all it is. I won't be picking them up. As for GTA 5, same thing. It's just they announced that they were going to be releasing on the next generation anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But remasters and remakes overall, I think some games do need that, especially older games really need that. I'm a big advocate for certain games needing a remastered or redefined edition, or a remake, basically. I'm trying to think of ones off the top of my head. Let's use Mass Effect for an example, because I know there is actually a Mass Effect trilogy, remastered or remake, or remastered edition coming out on the next generation. Apparently it's been confirmed, but don't quote me on that. Mass Effect 1 has not aged well. I'm saying that right now. This was BioWare's attempt at making a sci-fi game, and you can tell that they were not familiar with some of the stuff they worked on, and this was a first attempt at this style of game. Mass Effect 1 does need a remastered or a remake version. I'm going to be honest, because it needs cleaned up controls, it needs cleaned up graphics. Even to this day, Mass Effect 1 is very difficult to play for me personally. While I can still play in it, there are some things that do annoy me, especially with the gameplay and graphics. They still bug me. Now, it's still a great game, but I'm okay with a remastered or remake version coming out for that game, because I would play it again, just because if they could clean up the problems that they had with it, that would be absolutely fantastic. So yeah, I'm okay with that. So Mass Effect 1 is one thing. Mass Effect 2 doesn't need it. Mass Effect 3 doesn't need it. But when Mass Effect 3 comes out, because it never happened. Never happened. Never happened. Got it. Other games, of course, that could get remastered versions. It just depends. But I know that there are older games like Fallout, the original Fallouts 1 and 2, which I haven't played, but a lot of people say those games are absolutely fantastic. The only problem that they have is the user interface has not aged well. And if they could remaster that, people would say people would love it, and I definitely think that's a possibility. I'm a big advocate of, if an older game, like one of the classic games that people continually talk about that's absolutely glorious, is like Morrowind, for example. I kind of want to play the Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Apparently it's one of the best Elder Scrolls game. A lot of people put it up on a pedestal and say it's absolutely fantastic, the story's amazing, that kind of thing. But every person I've asked has stated, do not play it because of the user interface, because apparently the user interface is atrocious. It has not aged well in the least, and it's extremely difficult to play. That's why the whole remaster Skywind's coming out eventually. I am an advocate, and I do think that certain games, if they're really old, do need a remaster, because people will buy them. I definitely if next week they announced that Morrowind, the remastered version, was coming out on PC, I'd pick it up because I want to see where the Elder Scrolls was. I would love to play some of these older games from the past, but a lot of them are just really tricky to play. But as I say, that comes down to your own personal opinion as to how you can stand it. I think remasters and remakes are fine as long as they're done right. And I mean fixing problems from the game that we had, like graphical problems, gameplay problems, bugs, that kind of fix the stuff and then release it and remaster it up there. I'm okay with that. I think that is actually something that should happen and is only a positive for the industry. They just need to pick the right games to be remastered or remade. That's what I'm saying. I'm okay with that. So I have no problem with remasters or remakes, but the games that you've mentioned there, Bloodcroft, I do not consider the majority of them remakes. I consider them the Game of the Year editions. So yeah. Next question for Bloodcroft. Do you think VR is a gimmick or do you see it taking off and being successful? At the moment, I see things like the Oculus Rift as mostly a gimmick right now. I still think that virtual reality, though, is something that can work. If they can get the Oculus Rift to work correctly, or devices similar to it to work correctly, I think it can be really, really, really good. Very immersive, very that kind of thing. I think the Oculus Rift or some kind of virtual reality thing can work. I just think right now it's still a bit of a gimmick, and until they actually release the thing with some proper games, then I'm not going to pick it up. Simple as. So it's a bit of a gimmick at the moment, but I do see the potential in it. That's actually the last question from Bloodcroft. We'll go with okay. These are the last questions for this part of the video. This part, and we'll get to the last ones in part 3 or part 4, depending on when I get to. Next set of question comes from Bonzia. Do you believe in God? And if so, how big of a part does religion have in your life? I don't believe in God. I'm not a Christian or a Muslim or a Buddhist or anything. I don't follow any religion. Because every religion I've tried to follow, and I've tried to follow a few, I've even researched a few of them. I followed Christianity for a while when I was younger, but after having a nice little discussion with a priest, not that kind of discussion, involved sexuality. It depends. I could remember it wrong, but basically I can't remember the exact word. I think the priest said something along the line when I asked, like, even when I was a kid, I asked the priest, can a man love a man? Can a man love another man? Can a woman love another woman? I didn't know what that was when I was a kid. And he says, not in the eyes of God. So I didn't agree with that. I've always been a believer in do what the fuck you want. I'm not going to judge you. I did practice Wiccan. I was a Wiccan for a little while. But I fell out with that quite quickly. It just didn't. I followed it for like maybe a year, but it just fell out with it. I looked into Satanism, Muslim, Buddhist, and none of the religions appealed to me. None of them in the slightest. So I just became an agnostic, which opinion, which is I do believe that there is some kind of supernatural force. I do believe that there is an afterlife. I do believe that there is something after death, but I don't know what it is, and I don't want to speculate what it is. I think there is something after life, and whatever the hell it is, I'll find out when I die. That's the only way I'll ever find out. And it doesn't impact my life in the slightest beyond the fact that I'm going to die one day. Why worry? But that being said, I do not judge anyone for their religious beliefs, as long as they don't do one of 3 things, I think. There's many, many things. One, they are not a zealot about it. They aren't saying that if you don't follow this religion, you're going to hell, you're going to die in horrible burning agony, that kind of thing. And also, you insult me. Like I have argued with priests down the town, preaching gospel stuff, saying that I'm going to hell because of my beliefs. I've argued with priests on that, and I'm not kidding. I wouldn't consider them priests. I consider them zealots. Because they're not official priests, they're just people who are very zealot about their religion. 2, you don't force it down my throat. You don't say if I don't follow it. You don't badger me with facts about your religion, that kind of thing. And 3, you don't hurt others. Like, that's a big advocate for me. That I do not judge any religious organization on the actions of a few. For example, big country. I do not judge an entire people like Muslims on the actions of the groups like Al Qaeda or ISA. I do not judge every Muslim or every Arabian or every Iraqi or every Pakistani on the actions of those people, because those people do not represent the entire country or the entire people or that entire race. Those are zealots who think they know better and think that they deserve better. Those are zealots. I don't judge them by that. Same with Christianity. I do not judge people like I don't judge all Christianity based on West Bros Baptist Church. As long as you're not that type of person and you're not as zealot about it, or you don't try and force it down my throat, and as long as you're respectful that your belief's your belief. It may not be my belief, but it's your belief. I'll respect it as long as you respect mine. So I have had friends and people try and convert me to other religions, and I've just told them to shut the fuck up. Religion does not impact my life beyond the fact that I don't care about it. But if you care about it, that's fine. I have friends who are many religions. I don't talk to them a lot of them anymore. And it doesn't bother me. And I don't ask. If I'm curious about their religion, I'll ask about it. But other than that, I just told them like they're normal people. So yeah, as long as you're not a zealot, try and force it down my throat. And as long as you do no harm to people, I got no problem. Like, don't fight with people over your religion. Like the three things that are the three most common things that people fight over: love, money, and religion. And I'm a bad person. I have argued with people over religion. I have never physically fought with anyone, but it has came close. I'm trying to stop that. I'm trying to not argue with people over the religion, because it's their religion. Let them fucking share what they want, as long as they don't like pull out an AK-47 or do a suicide bomb run. I'm fine with that. So yeah, I'm trying to be a better person. It's hard sometimes because in Glasgow there are quite a few religious organisations who constantly are down the town preaching their beliefs in a very aggressive manner. And in my opinion, religion shouldn't be aggressive. But yeah, that's beside the point. And where are you? There we are. Next question from Bonsai is: since you're bisexual, do you think sexual preference for one? Do you have a sexual preference for one gender, or do you find both equally attractive? Don't know. I'm bisexual. I find both equally attractive. Like I can a good looking man is the same as me as a good looking woman. I don't see a difference. I've had crushes on men. I've had crushes on women. I've only ever been intimate with a woman before, but I've never been intimate with a man yet. I know some people say, oh, but you're not bisexual if you're not a man. That's because I'm not that type of person. I prefer to get to know someone before I ask them out on a date. But yeah, I find both men and women equally attractive. Doesn't bother me. It's love, that kind of thing. So yeah, I'm not going to get into the whole sexuality debate. That will be the last question for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in part 3.